Assalamu alaikum. My name is Professor Shahid Shamim. I am the Associate Dean for Graduate Studies at Aga Khan University, Karachi. Let me share my screen with you. So, I hope you can see my screen. Uh, for me, it is an honor and real privilege to speak today with you. I wish I could have attended this conference in person, but due to some personal reasons, I could not this year. Inshallah, next year. So, the title of my talk today is Progress with Integrity, Ethics of Using AI in Medical Research. Now, there are two main words in this title, progress and integrity. Progress का मतलब होता है तरक्की, बेहतरी की तरफ पेशरफ्त होना, और इंटेग्रिटी का उर्दू मायने है दयानतदारी, सालमियत, ईमानदारी, या इन सबको मिला के समथिंग बिगर देन दिस. In today's talk, I'll be talking about these things. Why AI in research and how this can be a progress with integrity. Some ethical questions will be framed, जिनको हम कोशिश करेंगे. We'll try to answer them. Framework for Pakistan क्या हो सकता है for using AI in medical research, and how philosophy can guide us for our future. Now, together, the two words, progress and integrity, reflect a conviction that scientific progress, no matter how extraordinary it is, cannot be called true progress if it comes at the expense of ethics, fairness, and human dignity. Progress without integrity can actually be more harmful than it can bring good. It can actually be, it can cause complications, ethical issues, and stuff. So, as we enter the new era of artificial intelligence, जो कि हम सब I'm sure use कर रहे हैं, we need to be very clear how this is going to shape our future. Because whatever decisions, whatever we do today becomes history for tomorrow. And that will guide people who will come after us. So why AI in research? Now, AI in medical research is no longer an abstract idea. Okay. Around the world, it is already being used for designing more efficient research proposals for basic sciences, clinical sciences, public health studies, review and synthesis, big data, biomedical literature in a very short time. So it is efficient, it is fast, it is cost effective, especially in Pakistan, where English is not our first language, and a lot of people struggle in developing and conducting research. It can help us analyze large data sets quickly from electronic health records to registries. It can reduce the cost by simulating outcomes before the experiment has even started. It can bridge gaps in expertise by providing tools to junior researchers who may not have access to advanced mentorship. So AI can therefore help Pakistan and similar contexts like other developing countries to jump traditional barriers in research. And traditional barriers क्या है? यही है, language barriers हैं हमारे, cost का problem होता है, finances का problem होता है, expertise का problem. But alongside this opportunity lies serious problems, the ethical risks that can happen with using AI in research can be magnificent, can be very, very high. And if left unchecked, could harm both the credibility of our researchers, credibility of our research, and the trust that people have in the medical profession. जो बचा कुचा ट्रस्ट रह गया है, उसको हार्म कर सकता है अगर हमारी रिसर्च appropriate nahi ho to. Now, what are the ethical questions that come to our mind? And there are many. Let me frame the key ethical question that came to my mind when I was thinking about this talk. So, when using AI in designing and conducting medical research in Pakistan, these are the three questions that came to my mind. Are AI-driven research designs inclusive? or do they reinforce bias? Does AI preserve human dignity and autonomy of participants while conducting research? And the third question is, who is responsible if AI-based decisions in research cause any harm? Now, let me take you to each of the questions one by one. So for the first question, we all know that AI is increasingly shaping how we design research proposals. AI tools can suggest sample size, identify eligibility criteria, even simulate outcomes to optimize our protocols. But there can be problems with AI-made designs. AI tools are trained on Western data set, right? When we use them to design studies in Pakistan, we are actually allowing external contexts to define our research priorities. For instance, to optimize trial efficiency, AI may exclude populations that most need representation in our research, such as women from rural areas, elderly population, people with comorbidities. So an AI would exclude them to make the research proposal more efficient. Now, similarly, in clinical trials, often conducted with support from pharmaceutical companies, which may use AI to design clinical trials in like Karachi or Ahmedabad, based on data from New York or London. Now, these trials may look great on paper, but they can be ethically questionable if they do not reflect the true problems or true burdens of Pakistani population, people living in Karachi and Ahmedabad or in different parts of Pakistan. So trained on Western data set, ignoring local epidemiology, omitting relevance to culture and society can be big problems when we talk about AI-driven research. Now, coming to second question. Does AI preserve human dignity and autonomy of participants while conducting research? Well, let us consider AI in research conduct. AI can help monitor your trials, identify issues in data entry. It can even detect, if somebody has fraudulent data or done some uh, fraud with data collection. However, there are also challenges. Like, for example, researchers may become so much dependent on AI outputs without critically integrating or checking their validity, that in future they are not able to do any research without AI. Now, that dependence, that over-reliance can be so detrimental for the researchers. Uh, there can be issues with the analysis and decision making. If AI analyzes data to draw outcomes, we don't know what are the algorithms, what are the processes going at the back end of AI, then how can we be sure that the decisions are truly coming out what the research is all about? And last but not the least, autonomy of participants and trust. If AI chatbots are used for participants' consent or follow-up, are we reducing human interaction in a way that undermines the trust between the researcher and the participant? So ethical research conduct will require hybrid approaches, using AI to strengthen it, but not replace human oversight. Because that human touch, that trust between the researcher and the participant is something which is in the center of the research. Community engagement, trust building, respect for cultural sensitivities must remain central to the research. The third question, who is responsible if AI-based decisions in research bring harm to participants? It's a very important question of accountability. When AI tools are used in research designs or conduct, who is responsible if errors happen? The researcher who used the AI tool, or the programmer who created the AI algorithm, which is working at the back end, or the institution that approved the study, ERC members. So in Pakistan, where regulatory structure are still evolving, this question becomes even more important. Accountability frameworks must be clear. AI must assist, but moral and legal responsibility always rests with human researchers and institutions. Ethics committees must therefore expand their scope. People sitting on the ethics committees must understand the use of AI. They should not only evaluate human protocols, but also assess the ethical soundness of AI systems used in research. And they are going to be used because AI systems are there for our benefit. So what does progress with integrity would mean uh, when we are talking about AI-based research in Pakistan? Now, I would propose the following guiding principles for this kind of research where we are using AI, and we will be using AI. All of us will be using AI, and with time, we'll be using more of it every day. So a framework for Pakistan would include capacity building, like train generation of Pakistani researchers, not only to use AI, but to investigate its ethical implications critically, understand its ethical implications critically, and be mindful that ethics has to be kept on top of everything else when you are conducting research. Secondly, strengthen ethical oversight. Our IRB members, ethics committee members need to understand that AI-driven protocols can also have problems. They must be able to see the protocols and the proposals from an AI perspective. And the second thing which this framework shows is data governance. We need to develop national policies for data privacy, consent, data sharing, with keeping AI in mind. We do have policies at this point in time, but they would need to be revised and looked at from the AI perspective. And secondly, ensure local relevance and equity by training AI models on Pakistani data rather than depending on Western depending on AI which has been trained on Western data. We need to have our own. We need to develop our own data sets based on which can reflect our population, disease burdens in Pakistan, and our cultural context, which is so important in research, especially when we talk about medical research. So, what is the philosophy behind it? Why do we need all this? And how can this philosophy guide us? So, beyond technicalities, there are philosophical dimensions in research. Okay. If research becomes too dependent on AI for designing methods, analyzing data, drafting manuscripts, then we are actually endangering uh, our science for becoming only pattern recognition, the way AI looks at it. It looks at different patterns, it looks at data already available, and then uses that data to develop something new, which is not science, which is not creativity, which is more like, recognizing different patterns and then producing something from that. That is not research. So ethics in research is not just about preventing harm. It's about preserving the soul of research as well, and guiding humans in with compassion, responsibility, and wisdom. So medical research is not only about efficiency or being fast. It's about curiosity. It's about creativity. It's about service to humanity on top of everything else. So how does that reflect on the future of research in Pakistan? So we are standing at a crossroad at this point in time. Whatever, as I said earlier, whatever actions we take today become history tomorrow. Whatever path we take today will guide future researchers. We must remember that behind every data set is a patient, is a person with dignity, with vulnerabilities, with rights. Their well-being and trust are the foundation of any medical research. If those are lost, no amount of technological sophistication, no amount of technological advancements can restore that trust. So we can embrace AI in research without thinking uncritically, importing tools and models that may not fit our realities, risking the fairness and justice that is embedded in our cultural context. Or we can take the more demanding path, use ethics uh, at the heart of AI-driven research to ensure that progress is measured not only by speed, not only by efficiency, but by integrity and equity. AI is the reality. It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And with time, it's going to get more and more complex, actually. But we must keep pace with it. But let our guiding principles be very clear. Progress, yes, but progress with integrity. Thank you very much. Uh, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them.